To get a divorce, I told my husband I was having an affair. Liam, a man who had always seemed carved from marble, cracked for the first time. Then end it with him. Why divorce me? He demanded. This isn't about you. I replied evenly. His eyes narrowed. Did someone put this idea in your head?
No.
But it doesn't matter, I said. Even if he wanted to, he could never replace you unless I let him. He can dream all he wants. Funny. I thought we were only ever business partners. Our marriage had never been about love. It was a transaction, a merger between two powerful families who wanted an alliance, not a romance. On our wedding night, I told him straight out, pulling the pins from my hair as I spoke. Relax, I said. I won't make this complicated. We can live our own lives as long as we keep the public image intact. He blinked once, then nodded.
Fine.
Whatever works for you. That reaction didn't surprise me. Everyone knew Liam Sterling's heart already belonged to someone else. Who she was, or where she'd gone, wasn't my concern. As long as he didn't flaunt her in front of me, I didn't care. For the kind of money and security his name offered, I could overlook almost anything. And so, our life together was calm, almost silent. We shared a massive, minimalist mansion that felt more like a showroom than a home. Our daily exchanges rarely went beyond a polite morning, afternoon, or good night. Usually I was the one speaking. Liam would respond with a short, before retreating into his study or leaving for work. Sometimes guilt seemed to prick him, and he'd toss out a few half-hearted comments. It's supposed to rain. I'll have the driver pick you up tonight. Are you going to that same place again? That same place was the downtown lounge where my friends and I gathered every week. Liam had only joined us once. The moment he arrived, my friend Maya leaned forward with a grin. Well, the elusive Liam Sterling. I was starting to think he was a myth. Look at him, playing the loving husband for cocktails. Liam, and used to her teasing, actually looked nervous. Chloe is my wife, he said stiffly. It's right for me to be with her. He didn't stay long. A call came through, and he rose immediately, his apology polished and practiced. Something urgent at work. I knew better. It wasn't work calling him away, it was her. I waved him off gracefully. Go ahead. Duty calls. Before leaving, he not only paid our bill but left a blank check to cover anything my friends and I bought for the rest of the afternoon. The second the door closed, Maya turned to me, eyes glinting. Okay, spill it. Is Mr. Ice King that cold in bed too? I nearly choked on my drink. How could I tell them that after a full year of marriage, Liam and I had never even crossed that line? He was always buried in work. By the time he came home, I was already asleep, and he would disappear into his study until dawn. I muttered something vague, and the table erupted with laughter and advice. Chloe, a man that handsome and that boring is a waste, Maya said dramatically. Anyway, your marriage is for show, right? I bet he has someone else. You should too. You're rich, beautiful, and young. Don't spend your best years frozen next to a statue. Their voices blurred together until one idea began to stick. That night, my so-called friends decided to take action. They booked a suite at the Carlyle and sent up 8 male models, each one taller, sharper, and more handsome than the last. A ridiculous scene, really. It was like standing in front of an art exhibit of living sculptures. I pointed lazily to one of them, a man with a small beauty mark near his eye. You. The others left, laughing. The chosen one, Leo, knelt before me, took a sip of champagne, and leaned in to kiss me. But the moment our eyes met, another face flashed in my mind, Liam's. I froze. Forget it, I whispered, pulling back. You can go too. That night, I went home in silence, my thoughts tangled and heavy. Liam Sterling had always been something of a legend in our circles. First, for his intellect. Everything came effortlessly to him, school, sports, business. He earned praise, envy, and attention in equal measure. Second, for his looks. Sharp features, piercing eyes, a presence that could captivate a room without trying. He could have been a superstar if he'd chosen the stage over the boardroom. So when I learned he was my intended, I asked the only natural question. Why us? Our families weren't particularly close, but the word was that Liam's grandfather had orchestrated the match. A classic move, secure the heir before he wandered into someone unsuitable. I had nothing to lose, so I agreed. And yet seeing him every day stirred something I hadn't expected. The rejection of the handsome model at my penthouse wasn't accidental. If I was going to be with someone, I wanted it to be someone on Liam's level. Our 1-year anniversary seemed perfect. I gave the staff the day off, arranged a candlelit dinner, and changed into a silk slip dress that hugged my every curve. The reflection staring back at me was confident, elegant, seductive. Surely, Liam couldn't ignore this. When he arrived, however, the surprise on his face quickly hardened into a frown. He took in the rose petals scattered across the dining room and asked in a clipped tone, "You did this?"
Who taught you?
His eyes were unreadable, but I knew pleasure wasn't there. A cold sweat prickled my palms. I whispered, He drew a slow breath, controlling his anger. "Go change. Get some sleep. I have work to do, and someone will clean this up." Then he left. For 2 weeks, he didn't return home. The humiliation of that night lingered. One night, I woke alone, reaching instinctively across the empty bed. The chill reminded me of a truth I couldn't ignore. I had to act. "You want a divorce?" I asked the moment I gathered the courage. Liam stared at the papers on the coffee table. "Why?"
Why?
The list was endless. He ignored me, never shared a bed with me, cared more about investments than my happiness. But above all, I knew if this continued, I would fall for him. And I refused to waste my heart. I picked a reason from nowhere. "I'm in love with someone else." His face froze. "In love?" "Yes," I said firmly. "I want to be with him." The room went cold. "In love? That's not love. That's betrayal," he spat. "Fine," I said, swallowing hard. "Then I want to make it official. I don't want him to remain the other man." His eyes widened. "You love him that much?" Then Liam broke. "Cheating is your problem, not mine. Why are you dragging me into this? You should end it with him. Why are you divorcing me over it? Did he convince you to do this? Men like him are worthless," he barked. "No, it's impossible. He can't be more than your secret. He'll never replace me." His eyes glistened with emotion, but I pressed on. "Think about it. Once we're divorced, you can be with your real love. No family pressure, no obligations. Clean and simple." He refused. Snatching the papers, he tore them in half. "Impossible. I'm not making space for him." Negotiations had failed. How had it gone so wrong? It didn't take long to figure out. The Vance and Sterling companies were in the middle of several joint ventures. A divorce could derail everything, alarm investors, and cost millions. Liam was clearly calculating, rational, and strategic. And suddenly, he was everywhere. If I sat on the sofa with a smoothie, he was at the dining table pretending to work. If I streamed a show on my tablet, he would glance at it and move on. When I baked macarons, he stationed himself at the kitchen entrance. "Are those for him?" One tray had slightly browned edges. "Want one?" I offered. He gritted his teeth. "So, I only get the rejects?" "Of course. I wasn't going to eat them myself." "Fine, don't eat it," I said, moving to toss the tray. He intercepted my hand, popped a macaron into his mouth, and mumbled, "Did I say I didn't want it? Whatever he gets, I get too." He drank my juice in a few gulps, drops trickling down his neck, disappearing beneath his crisp white shirt. Then he smirked faintly. "So? I'm better looking than him, right?" Blinking, I muttered, Yeah, sure." Agreeing was safer than questioning him. That night, he climbed into bed. I instinctively slid away, but he caught my gaze, wounded and vulnerable. "Do you have to stay so far away? Do you hate me?" What? This was supposed to be a divorce, yet here he was hurting. I moved closer. "No, of course not. Don't overthink it. I'm not disgusted by you." He turned off the lamp, plunging the room into darkness. We lay there, silently, absurdly, until I laughed softly at the ridiculous tension. Then he shifted closer, hesitated, and finally murmured, "Chloe, can I hold you?" I froze, but he didn't wait. His arm wrapped around me, stiff and careful, as though I were fragile. His head rested near my shoulder, voice low and thick with feeling. "Good night, Chloe." For the first time in ages, I slept through the night. Morning came, and his side of the bed was empty. But a note in his elegant, familiar handwriting lay on my nightstand. "Urgent meeting at the office. Don't go anywhere. Wait for me to come home." Technically, meeting someone for coffee didn't count as running around, right? That's what I told myself when I agreed to meet Leo. His message had arrived early that morning. "It's Leo. I'd like to see you. Is that okay?" It took me a moment to remember him, the young model with the small mole near his eye from that awkward night. When I called, his voice buzzed with excitement. You called. I got accepted into NYU. I wanted to thank you in person. The money you gave me changed everything. Without it, I couldn't even afford to take the SATs. He was barely 18 then. His mother had passed, his father gambled away everything, and he had a younger brother to care for. With debt collectors closing in, modeling had been his desperate last option. That night, when I turned him away, he'd looked so broken. If you send me back, they'll hurt me, he'd whispered. So, I'd wired him enough to pay off his father's debts and told his agent to let him go back to school. I didn't think about it again until now. Hearing he'd turned his life around actually made me smile. Of course, I said softly. I'd love to see you. Congratulations, Leo. He chose a small cafe downtown. When I arrived, I noticed, unfortunately, that the Sterling Corp headquarters was just a few blocks away. But Liam had left in such a rush this morning. He wouldn't possibly run into me here. I shook off the thought.
Why was I even thinking about him?
Leo was already waiting by the window, dressed simply in jeans and a white t-shirt. The sunlight made him look almost angelic, his youth radiant and effortless. I didn't know what you liked, so I didn't order, he said shyly, sliding the menu toward me. I pointed to a basic black coffee. He frowned immediately. Please, order whatever you want. Don't worry, I can afford it now. Then, seeing my expression, he blushed. I mean, I've been working part-time. Tutoring, waiting tables. It's not much, but it's honest. You don't have to drink that just to be polite. I know this place isn't your kind of cafe. His voice trailed off. I smiled, touched by his sincerity. Don't be silly. This is perfect. And call me Chloe, please. No need for formality. His eyes lit up. Really? Okay. Chloe. Chloe Vance. The familiar voice behind me made my blood run cold. I turned and there he was, Liam. He stood at the entrance with several of his employees in sleek suits. His expression was stormy, the tension in his jaw sharp enough to cut glass. Wonderful. I just walked into his company coffee break. He strode toward me, grabbed my wrist, and hissed under his breath, "We have an audience. Play along." His tone was calm, but the steel underneath was unmistakable. I glanced at the watching executives. They pretended not to stare, but their curiosity hung thick in the air. I sighed and nodded. Fine. This is Leo, I said quickly. He's a friend. Liam let out a cold laugh. A friend, huh? His gaze flicked between us. Then he smirked. You hear that, kid? Just a friend. Don't get confused. He leaned closer to Leo, his voice dripping with condescension. You know what a friend is? Temporary. She comes home to me in the end. I froze. Leo looked like he wanted the floor to swallow him. Then Liam added almost casually, How much will it take for you to disappear? Before I could react, Liam's hand tightened around mine, firm and possessive, as though I were something fragile that needed guarding. Leo went red to the ears. I wasn't trying to fool anyone, he stammered. I just wanted to say, thank you. That was enough. I yanked my hand free. Stop it, Liam. Apologize to him. Right now. He blinked, clearly not expecting that. Chloe, he's manipulating you. That's what people like him do. I glared. Apologize. Or I'm walking out with him. He puffed up like a sulky kid, muttered something under his breath, then said grudgingly, sorry. After a second, realization seemed to dawn on him. Wait. Why am I apologizing? He's the one trying to steal my wife. I groaned. Oh, for heaven's sake. Leo started bowing so fast I thought he might pass out. It's fine. It's fine. I'm the one who's sorry. I should go. Before leaving, he handed me a small wrapped box. This is for you. Just thank you. He hurried out, and I turned to find several of Liam's employees pretending to be invisible while clearly reveling in the drama.
Great.
Office gossip for weeks. I sank into a chair, exasperated. You're unbelievable. You were supposed to be in a meeting. What are you doing here? His grin was infuriatingly smug. Meeting's done. I was treating my team to coffee. He gestured at the others. Go ahead, everyone. Order whatever you want. My wife missed me, so I'll stay with her. Excuse me? Who missed who? His employees, of course, jumped at the chance. Mr. and Mrs. Sterling are such a perfect couple. Thank you, Mrs. Sterling. Looks like we'll be running up quite the bill on your husband's card. I wanted to crawl under the table. Then one of them said cheerfully, Mrs. Sterling, you're even more beautiful in person. No wonder the boss talks about you all the time.
Wait, what?
Liam coughed loudly, waving them off. All right, back to work. Go before I regret this generosity. Once they were gone, I stared at him. He fidgeted under my gaze, scratching the back of his neck. I mention you because my tone was cool. Liam, tell me something. The person you've been in love with all this time, is she one of your employees? He stared at me, utterly dumbfounded. Huh. The pieces started falling into place. Not long after we'd married, I'd done a little digging on Liam. At a private gathering, he'd casually admitted he was in love with someone from college, a girl named Sarah. She had been part of his small circle of friends, and he'd supported her relentlessly, debate team victories, her tech startup, even shared awards. They had looked perfect together in every photo I'd seen. Had it not been for her family's modest background, she would have been his bride instead of me. That realization killed any spark of warmth I'd felt toward him. But then, why did he keep bringing me up at work? Only one explanation made sense. He was using me as a pawn to make Sarah jealous, a calculated move in some twisted game. I was just a prop. My blood boiled. Liam, this is ridiculous.
His jaw dropped. What?
No, wait, you're right. I'm sorry. The quick apology cooled my anger slightly, but I pressed on. What exactly am I supposed to be sorry for? I'm not hiding anyone at my company, he added, genuinely confused. You're the one cheating, remember? How could you even think that? That other guy must have twisted everything. I shouldn't have let him go, Liam said defensively. Do you believe him that easily? It's not my fault. Then he closed his eyes, as if making a painful choice. All right, if you really like him that much, I guess I'll have to step up, be the primary one.
Wait, what?
I had made up an imaginary affair, and he thought Leo was my lover. Instead of granting me a divorce, he was claiming me? A wild thought struck me. Liam, I said slowly, don't tell me you're in love with me? He turned red as a lobster. Yeah. I didn't know whether to laugh or scream. Asking for a divorce had never been so effective. Just then his phone buzzed. He picked it up, frowning. Honey, something came up at the office. I have to. You should go, I said. I'll wait at home. I bolted from the cafe faster than he had. Back at home, I tried to make sense of it. Liam was in love with me? When? Could I trust him? Or was this just a ploy to stop the divorce? Then I remembered the failed seduction attempt, the candlelit room, rose petals, the dress. He had been angry and walked out. Determined to understand, I decided to recreate the scenario. That evening, I set the scene exactly the same, even wearing the same dress. The moment he saw it, his expression changed. Desire flashed in his eyes. He stepped closer, voice low and growling. Chloe, you started this. If I'd known what would happen next, I never would have tried it. The next morning, I was so exhausted I could barely move. Liam had spent the entire night demonstrating exactly how he felt. Before I drifted off, I'd felt his tears fall near my ear, his voice raw and strangled. Chloe, I've loved you all this time. You're the only one for me. My memory was a fog, but the feeling lingered. When he finally appeared, he practically glowed. He scooped me up, careful and gentle. You're awake. Hungry? I made breakfast. Come on, I'll take you to the table. I tried to push him away, but my hand brushed his chest. Instinctively, I squeezed just a little. He groaned lowly. Don't start something you can't finish. He was right. I definitely couldn't finish. I retracted my hand, though the temptation lingered. His shirt clung perfectly to his chest, outlining every line. I couldn't resist. I undid a button. His eyes darkened. Chloe, we're showering together. 2 hours later, I emerged a puddle of exhaustion and awe. Liam was anything but cold in bed. He was fire, consuming and intense. So, why were you such a gentleman that other night? I asked, breathless. Jealous, he admitted. I thought someone else had taught you those tricks.
And
I felt insecure. I laughed softly. My seduction attempt had been a little unusual in retrospect. He offered me a spoonful of eggs. Try this. Did I do well? So good, I mumbled, chewing. Then reality hit me. Liam, what about that girl from college? Are you still in touch with her? You can't say you love me if your heart's somewhere else. He froze, clearly confused. Who? I kicked him lightly. Don't play dumb.
Sarah.
You were close to her. Don't pretend you've forgotten. His expression went from puzzled to panicked. Sarah? Who told you? Someone's spreading lies. That's sabotage. He picked up his phone, showing me chat logs with Sarah.
See?
She's married. I never had feelings for her. I even gave them a wedding gift. I didn't want to look, but he pressed the phone closer. I finally relented. Okay, I believe you. Stop. I'm hungry. Feed me. Yes, my love, he said, putting the phone away and resuming his role as my attentive chef. Feeling safe for the first time in a while, I let out a sigh. Then he asked, quietly, almost nervously, Chloe, were you investigating me? Alarm bells rang in my head. Nobody likes being spied on, least of all Liam Sterling, a man raised with power, privilege, and zero patience for scrutiny. Let me explain. I started hesitating. He cut me off with a sly grin. Just admit it. You like me more. My stomach did a flip. It doesn't matter who else is out there, he continued, voice soft but confident. You've always had me in your heart. Everyone else is temporary. I'm your destination. He looked positively smug, and I realized it was time for honesty. I didn't cheat on you. I made it up, I confessed. I don't like anyone else. I only like you. His expression froze for a moment, then broke into sheer delight. Wait, what did you just say? Chloe, you like me? For the next 10 minutes, he repeated it to himself like a mantra, disbelief slowly, giving way to certainty. Chloe, you really like me. I gave him a gentle kick. Are you going to feed me or not? Because I could find someone else who will. His face softened. Nope. Only I get to. Since that moment, Liam transformed into a completely different man. He began joining my brunches again, answering my friends' questions with unnerving charm. Taking time off to be with Chloe again? Let's be honest, being with her is my most important work. Am I clingy?
Yes.
Isn't that what a husband is supposed to be? Is Chloe in high demand? Absolutely. That's why I have to be good to her. I'll give her everything. I nudged him under the table. Okay, that's enough. Later, as he held me in bed, he whispered against my ear, You're amazing, Chloe. So amazing I can hardly believe you're really in my arms. Curiosity got the better of me. Then why were you so cold all this past year? A blush crept over his cheeks. Because I thought you didn't like me. I was terrified that if I crossed the line, you would hate me. Chloe, I've loved you for years, he admitted. He told me everything, how he'd noticed me since childhood, admired my courage and kindness, followed my volunteer work, and even my wildlife conservation efforts abroad. When your family arranged the marriage, I panicked, he said. But we barely knew each other. On our wedding night, you said we should live separate lives. I knew you hated it, so I stayed distant. I was floored. Liam had been watching me all that time? He sighed. If I had confessed back then, you'd have thought I was crazy. Maybe I am a little. I may be a little, too, I teased, leaning in to kiss his forehead. But Liam, I like you. You're a good man. Tears glimmered in his eyes as he pulled me closer. My friends noticed the change immediately. Maya teased me at our last brunch. You're glowing, Chloe. It's almost annoying. I guess model viewings are off the table for you now. We've got some prime candidates tonight. Are you sure?
No chance.
Liam's flying in fresh ingredients from Italy. He's leaving work early to cook for me. I have to run. Halfway home, my phone buzzed. Chloe, help me. I'm at address.
Leo.
My heart leapt. Even though nothing romantic had ever happened between Leo and me, I couldn't ignore a call for help. He'd also given me a small gift before, modest, but meaningful. I owed him this. I changed course immediately, sending Liam a quick text. At address. Something came up. We'll be home late. I didn't mention Leo. Liam didn't pry. He trusted me. The address led me to a rundown industrial area. Collapsing warehouses, tattered tarps flapping in the wind, and a lingering stench of garbage greeted me. A leaning piece of plywood served as shelter. Leo? Are you here? I called his phone. A muffled vibration came from a nearby dumpster. A hoarse shout followed. Chloe, run. Chaos erupted. Damn kid, you make a sound and you die. Grab him. Get the woman. Liam Sterling's wife. Menacing figures closed in. Their leader had a jagged scar and a cruel grin. Well, Ms. Vance. Your family and the Sterlings have caused me so much trouble. Today you'll fix it. I could hold my own in a fight, but 3 hulking men were my limit. Bitch can fight? Let's see what you've got. The scarred man swung a wooden plank at my head. Chloe, watch out. Leo lunged at the same moment. The plank never hit me. It cracked against Liam's arm instead. He grunted in pain, shoved Leo aside, and kicked the scar-faced man hard in the chest. You're going to hurt my wife? I will destroy you. Liam roared, fury raw in his voice. I had never seen Liam so unrestrained. He moved like a storm, his eyes wild with fury, yet never letting go of his protective stance around me. By the time the police and his security team arrived, the ground was littered with groaning men. Liam had me pressed against a wall, arms forming a shield. Adrenaline drained, my vision went black. When I woke, the first sight was Liam, sitting silently by my hospital bed. Bandages covered his upper body, but he seemed more concerned with me than himself. Chloe, you're awake. Nurse. Doctor, come quickly. His voice trembled, shadowed by the terror of the day. The doctor examined me carefully. I was exhausted, but otherwise fine. Liam, on the other hand, had taken serious injuries, including a fractured arm. Furious and worried, I snapped. Why are you sitting here? You should be resting. He shook his head stubbornly.
No.
I need to watch over you. What if something had happened? I can't even imagine it. He explained the situation. His major project had directly competed with a rival company. They'd overextended themselves, and when Liam won, the company went bankrupt. Desperate, they discovered my brief link to Leo and used him to lure me into a trap. Ransom was their plan. Now, they'd face justice. And Leo? I asked, remembering him. Liam softened, a glimmer of his usual smugness returning.
He's fine.
The kid helped me, so I'll make sure he's okay. And don't worry, he might have a crush on you, but that's not a problem. After all, you've told me you only like me. I flushed. What thing? Don't say that. There's nothing between us. Before I could continue, a figure appeared. Leo. Chloe, he said awkwardly. I just wanted to see how you were. He looked battered and bruised, guilt written across his face. I'm sorry. This is my fault. You got hurt because of me. I tried to reassure him. It's not your fault. Liam's sharp voice cut in. Enough. Stop blaming yourself. My wife's safety isn't your responsibility. You were just in the wrong place at the wrong time. Leo finally understood, nodding slowly. I urged him to rest, then turned to Liam, who, without warning, collapsed onto me. The sudden weight knocked the air out of me. I started to cry for a doctor, but then I realized Liam wasn't in distress. I tapped his head. What are you doing? Pretending. His voice muffled against my shoulder. I've noticed you care about the vulnerable. I'm just learning from the enemy to defeat the enemy. Get up. You're ridiculous. He didn't move.
Ouch.
My injuries really hurt.
Panic rose in me.
Stop joking. Where does it hurt? Let the doctor see. He caught my wrist, pressing a soft kiss to my forehead. I don't need a doctor. This will make it better. More than one kiss followed. By the time he released me, I was breathless. Thoughtfully, he murmured. You know what? Since I'm injured, I'll be off work. We should go on our honeymoon. It hit me, we'd never had one. After the wedding, we had gone our separate ways. 2 strangers living in the same house. Where should we go? I asked, excitement creeping in. He leaned in, kissing me again. Anywhere. I'll follow you. We're making up for the year we lost.